Hi, this is Tony Poulos at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. I have with me today Raj Nathan, who is the Executive Vice President for Sybase, which is now an SAP company. Raj, welcome. Good to have you here.
Morning, Tony. Good to be here.
I'd like to know a little bit more about the mobile enterprise and the part you're playing in it.
In a mobile enterprise, the fundamental foundation is that you ought to be able to do away from the factory, away from the office, all that you do within the factory and the office. So this requires that the mobile enterprise have the ability to take data and be able to move it out in the mobile world, be able to take the applications and the functions that the applications perform out to the mobile world. That, I would say, is the foundation. The next step is really to be able to transform, introduce new mobile processes that you couldn't do in the factory. Let me give you an example. If you take a delivery truck driver and let us say he's delivering beer to the local store. The normal process would be that he would take the beer, go deliver it, write down on the inventory that that's what it is. Now with the tablet, you could sit down and put it on the system. But more importantly, now he could go to that store and look at the price of a competitor and see a special promotion for the price of the competitor and immediately be able to send a message back to the corporate and say, can we offer that price now? Okay, this is now transforming how you do business. Now the delivery truck driver has become the marketing person, has become the pricing person, has become the competitive person. And this is what I mean. Now we have the ability to be able to transform how you do business because of mobile devices.
And who exactly are we addressing when we talk about the mobile enterprise?
If you look at who we are trying to address the mobile enterprise in terms of the applications, you start with that executive. Okay. Now the executive has things like the dashboard and other things that he could now look at real-time data to manage the enterprise. The second set is what I would call knowledge workers. These are managers, these are intermediate decision makers who now have data on a real-time basis wherever they are to be able to execute that. The third component are the process workers. In process workers, there are both the white-collar types like a salesperson or a field sales technician, or blue-collar workers who do blue-collar tasks out there. Okay? And the last component is consumers. You're also trying to address the consumers with the mobile applications. For example, M-banking, mobile banking, is a classic example of an application that is very directed towards the consumer. So we are now trying to address with mobile applications and mobile devices the executives, the middle managers, the process workers, as well as the consumers.
Are corporations using mobility successfully to extend their businesses at the moment? And if so, how are they doing it?
In both cases, yes, they are. And if you look at banks today, banks are very focused on reaching out to the consumers. So their applications are very consumer-centric. If you look at organizations like that are in the logistics business, well, their applications are more directed towards the employees because they have hundreds of thousands of field technicians who can really gain by having the mobile technologies. So it depends on the corporation which kind of applications are being directed. And then you might have applications like the consumer products industry where they have a desire to reach both the consumer and the employee. So it depends.
In an editorial you wrote called The Mobile Majority, you talked about the corporations that embrace the mobile future would be rewarded at the bottom line. What did you mean by that?
Indeed. Today, if you take, when I say you can be rewarded at the bottom line, there are two components to this, of course. One is, are you able to grow the top line revenue? And the other is, are you able to reduce the cost line in a profit and loss statement? And if you look at today, look at all the underserved, just take banking. Okay. There's a huge population that has never been serviced before by the traditional banking methodologies. Today, with phones and mobile wallets and mobile top-ups, you're able to service a segment of the population underserved that you never served before. So suddenly you're now able to expand your reach into a consumer population that you didn't. And even in developed countries, the ability for consumer products companies to directly touch the consumer is not always there because they go through a retail store in the middle. Now, with the mobile technologies, they're able to directly reach and build loyalty programs that impact the top line. Then the second component is productivity improvements with employees. Those directly affect how much it is that you can address in the bottom line. I'll give you an example. Just the ability to save 2 trips for a field service technician has a tremendous impact on the bottom line of a company, because if you multiply 2 trips times 50,000 people out there doing service work, well, that adds up pretty quickly. It adds up and affects the bottom line. So that's why it affects the bottom line either from the revenue side or from the cost side.
Raj Nathan, thanks so much for being with me today. Thank you.